Further from Shopify, executive notes that they have not seen any real pull forward of demand. They say merchant GMV remains momentum has carried into the third quarter. Now seeing commentary from CEO of Disney, Iger says the company will invest in growing international streaming business.
All right, what's up, traders? Welcome to the channel. We're going to look for some setups today. We got a few things to talk about. We have an ECB, or not an ECB. We have ECB tomorrow. So that's pretty much the only news we have. And that rate decision could affect the euro, and they are expected to cut. So if they cut interest rates tomorrow, it would make the euro weaker. That could strengthen the dollar a bit, but we'll have to see how the market reacts to that rate decision tomorrow. Today, we don't really have any news that is as far as event high risk that is scheduled. So anything could happen, but really and truly, everything that's scheduled that's high event risk is for late this evening. No news. All right, so then we just have to look at price action setups, see what we got here. Bitcoin currently structured bearish. It's not bearish long term. All right, when I say current structure, I specifically mean today. So today's price
Further
action.
from Disney CEO says the company has explored bundling sports offering.
Today's range is below. Yes, we're trading currently below yesterday's close. Yesterday was a weak day, but yesterday we shorted Bitcoin. We did a Patreon only Discord stream, and basically we shorted Bitcoin, or we were looking to short Bitcoin right there at daily res. So the setup pretty much happened. Then this is not where it was. Here, sorry, right here, because we went live at 9 o'clock, and then we were watching to see if we got any higher 5-minute closes from this point. So 114.523 was the short side entry on Bitcoin. The trade did work. You did get an expansion lower, but that's it. That's as far as it went for the rest of the day. Bitcoin just slowly traded back up. And then here's today's range, a very, very narrow range inside of yesterday's range. So I typically don't like to see that in a selling scenario, because risk off is typically more aggressive than when you have the buyers in control of the market. And when the buyers are in control of the market, you get a slow drift or a slow grind higher. When the sellers are in control of the market, you usually get big, fast drops and continuation. So we didn't get any continuation yesterday. So that means today's trades are going to be a little bit more difficult. Yesterday was it was much simpler to find the area to short. And we knew we wanted to be short on Bitcoin because of the structure, because of what else was going on. If we look up at the VIX, you can see the VIX has gone nowhere. Yesterday it started to push up. That's when we got that move on Bitcoin lower. I actually shorted Fartcoin. I didn't short Bitcoin. I took the short on Fartcoin. But then like I said, it pushed up, found the high, rolled over. And we're still in that range today. Obviously, you can see why you're bouncing. You're testing the yearly opening range. That at that level is kind of holding as support on the VIX. Though if you break down back through this, then obviously my bullish long-term bias comes back into play. So, I mean, if you want to trade this for the longer term setup, then you would be looking to buy Bitcoin at support, right? Now, as far as the S&P 500, you can see what we're currently trading in between right now. We have an overhead resistance being previous week's midpoint. And then the current intraday support is the previous month, so July's midpoint, which is the area where we would want to see support hold if we were looking for an August higher expansion. So in a sense, if we're looking to capitalize on a larger move higher on the S&P for the month of August, because we're in August, then this is where we would want to see support. So I did buy a pre-market call on that to see if this level holds. If we break down through this level with some gusto and some steam, then clearly I will close that trade out. As you can see right now, dominance, Bitcoin dominance is rolling over. If it rolls over from here, you're going to see altcoins be bullish today and not bearish. So let's go to Fartcoin, as that would be the analysis. Obviously, this chart is very weak long term. So we gave back all the July gains. For month of August, we've gone nowhere. Here is where we opened. We put in a fresh monthly low, and then we basically have been trading inside of this candle since this day. So we are literally trading inside the August candle, which we will be trading inside the August candle. I just mean we're still trading in the range that we put in on the first day of August. That is the very definition of a sideways choppy market. When you have a sideways choppy market, it makes trend following strategies less good, if you will. Like, they don't work out as much. So it's best to look for like range bound strategies in this time. So return to the mean, or something like that, until you get a breakout below Monday's or last Friday's high or last Friday's low. So until we break out of that, we really don't have any directional bias here. Now, long term, we are trading at the yearly opening range on Fartcoin. So it makes sense that buyers would be stepping up here. At the same time, I mean, with the current structure that we have right here for the last 3 days, it looks like the market wants to go lower. But we didn't get any continuation from yesterday. In fact, this spiked up and traded up almost to where I was short. So we basically shorted at the news yesterday. We had a long bias going into the day. So this is the 10:30 candle, 10 o'clock candle. This is when we broke down. So we got news at 10 o'clock. We got the manufacturing PMIs, and it was a miss. So we were holding long at support here. And then when we got the news and realized it was a miss, we closed the long for a very small profit. And then we immediately switched to short. And then obviously that trade made money. This morning has been a little bit more difficult for me to get my daily range bias. I have a long-term bearish bias on it, but as long as price is holding above the yearly opening range, I have to have a near-term bullish bias on it. As far as the weekly price action is concerned, the last 3 days, you're trading below the weekly VWAP, which suggests sellers are in control of the market. If we look at the Bitcoin, hang on, that music has got to go. That is making it very difficult for me to concentrate. Sorry. We're going to go trap style. All right, here we go. So long versus shorts. The shorts are currently leading as far as 24-hour is concerned by about 5%. So 52.0 on the short side, 47.9 on the long side. It does suggest that the shorts are trying to push the market lower. That's on Bitcoin. but we're not seeing big volumes and we're not seeing big liquidations. So that's really not going to give us any indication of what we're going to do either. As you can see for Fartcoin, the point of control is setting right where price is trading. We've been trading here since the London session opened. We can see the Asian session opened right here. They sold it off, got back down to these lows, and that's where they ended it, or covered their short positions. And then here's your London session open right here, and it looks like they bought it and then eased off. So you can clearly see where the sellers are, where the buyers are, right? We're in the middle of that. So it is Wednesday. So I would like to know, hey, is this the weekly low? Or is this the weekly high? We just don't know that. But we can plan our trades around that. So if we fib this current week's range, we're trading well below the midpoint. Point of control is pretty close to the midpoint for yesterday. Today's point of control is lower, and we're seeing big volume spikes just above price, but nothing up in here. So with the 21 exponential, we're not trending, but we are, like I said, weak on the daily. So take that for what you will. If we get strength and dominance, then I would love to hold short fart, right? But dominance is kind of chip chopping around, and it's making it difficult to get a directional daily bias here. If we look at the 4-hour chart, this is what we have. A lot of chop, a lot of slop. You can see how you're just basically range bound in between these 4-hour candles. Okay, that is the weekly open. I had to be sure. So the support levels are going to be the 2025 yearly opening range at 93.65 and the weekly open at 92.74. But we're not trading down there, so it's going to make it difficult to want to buy it if we do break back down, because the way the current daily structure is, if we do break down, then obviously I would want to be holding that damn short. So for the daily range right now, since they sold the open of the day and that put in the range expansion, I think we have to watch resistance for the sell. It's just my problem is you can't short into support. So we kind of have a sit on your hands type of day, unfortunately. Yeah. Tell me what you think, what you see, what you got, and I'll go look at it. As far as our GLD shorts, that would be helpful if it would roll over. It's not rolling over, but it does look good. Yesterday did actually have, yesterday looked like it was going to break out and start trending higher, and it didn't. We went into the post-market session sideways, and then when your pre-market opened this morning, you had a big spike wick to the upside and then a rejection. So that looks kind of okay, but it needs to stay under 311.74. If it starts trading above 311.74, I'm going to exit the short for a very small loss. We did take an Amazon trade on Monday. Amazon, we got long. We got long based on a lot of different things, right? But the main thing is we think this might be a liquidation run or liquidation style trade where you fake out everybody with this big down move on good earnings. You beat both top and bottom line on earnings. You gap down, you break back under the yearly opening range here. So long term, a retest of 222 would be interesting. If it fails to get above that, then maybe there is where you would want to attack if you do want to short Amazon. So basically all we're looking for is the long back up to that area, as that's when we are in the money and that's when we can close out the trade. Once we get there, more things are going to be in question. But as far as analysts' ratings go on this, that was like a main reason why we looked at the longs. here is your analyst forecast on this. You can see 59 analysts have strong buy, 10 say buy, and then 4 hold. You've got 0 sells and 0 strong sells. So obviously the weighting on this, as far as analysts are concerned, this is a strong buy. Strong buy. That's why we bought it. So basically we bought it while price was testing the low that was set on Friday after we got the bad news. We wanted to see liquidation happen. We got the liquidation. We wanted to see that area hold a support. And then pre-market yesterday, it did hold a support and we bounced away from it, which was good news. Today, we're kind of gapping up above that. So in a sense, this can be our risk management point. So if price starts to drop under and trade away from this 212.80 level, then we can exit that trade. All right, because that could indicate that it's coming down here to retest the June open. So we don't want to hold a long position if price is currently rejecting the area that we think it is going to bounce from. And that's what we got right now. Basically, not a lot for a Wednesday. Usually Wednesdays are pretty good days because you've already got a nice range going on the week for the week price action. And right now for Bitcoin, it suggests lower and the daily says lower. You did just close a lower 30-minute candle. We got 5 minutes until the bell. When the bell fires up, we're going to give it a little bit of time to suss out direction here. Because if it's trading above the weekly open, you're no longer bearish on the weekly range. As long as you're under that, then that's a decent place to look for shorts. All right. That's your Bitcoin analysis. S&P, like I said, as long as we're trading above the previous month midpoint, I have a bullish bias on that. There might be a trade on oil. Right here, there might be a trade on oil. If we go look at the daily time frame here, you can see what's happened. We went back up, checked March's open and reject. Now I don't want to sell it after it's had a pretty strong move lower like this. Let me get rid of the session volume profile as we don't need it on this asset. There are so many people that trade oil. Ooh, it doesn't matter, right? So yesterday, we set in the open and the high of day. We are currently retesting that area there. There isn't nothing here. Forget that trend line. That is not a trend line. Forget it. Ignore it. So if we can't keep bullish pressure above, what is this price? 65.75, then we might want to be short on oil. As long as you're trading above yesterday's high, you do not want to be short on oil because you could be running up to 66.52. Now there's probably going to be smaller time frame levels in there. There's a 4-hour swing high here. There's a 4-hour swing high here. So you see, that's the level that we don't mind being short from if it wants to go lower. Today's price action is bullish on oil, but it's bearish on the dollar. So one of them is lying. Either the dollar is lying or oil is lying. Where is my DXY chart? I'll just pull it up. So dollar's weak today. So oil's trading at session highs, yesterday's open and yesterday's high. So what's the deal, yo? Right? So you might want to keep oil on your watch list today if you like trading oil. You can trade oil however you want to trade it. You can trade it by shares. You can trade it by options. You can trade the oil futures. You can trade the oil futures options. There's even a micro futures contract on oil, and that micro futures contract has options. Literally like 30 different vehicles to trade oil. So you should be able to trade one of those, right? USO would be the ticker price for the shares. They also have options. USO tracks oil futures. So whatever oil futures do, this will do. Usually, not always, but usually. So that's what we got. Those are all the things we're looking at and all the potential setups. We don't like oil short if it's trading above 65.75. We like it lower if it fails to break out above that. It doesn't look like it's going to. This is bullish. This looks bullish. That's an expansion higher. This is a consolidation up on highs. And you are currently trying to get that move higher. So let the liquidation happen first and then see what happens after. Don't just blindly short that price. You need to see proof that the market is in fact failing there. It could fail here. So we do have a price point to watch. Your highest 5-minute closing candle is 65.71. If you start closing higher 5-minute candles than that point, then you're not looking for the short. All right, so let's go back over to Bitcoin while oil does its thing here. See what Bitcoin gives us. It's currently trading at the lows of the session. What am I in a position for? I'm in a position on Fartcoin and it is not good. I thought I had everything closed out, ready for the day. I'm actually getting beat up. So I'm short Fartcoin for some reason right at the 4-hour open. And that trade is not working. That is not good. So I can either see what happens here and set in it or take the loss. I'm going to take the loss because it's $37. I can make $37 back. Well, here, I'll just watch these 1-minute candles real quick. So I guess I'm short right here. That was not meant to be. I don't know what's going on with that. So what is up with my internet? I'm dropping a shitload of frames. Let me get rid of a couple things here. Let me have Thinkorswim, please. I'm going to exit Thinkorswim. Okay. What? Don't do this now. I can't find the exit here. There's a prompt. Alright, you know what? Control Alt Delete, bitch. Give me 1 second. Goodbye, Thinkorswim. Let's see if that helps with the lag. I'll keep an eye on those frames. Sorry about that. So obviously now I'm losing a lot more money while I was dealing with that, but that's okay. We're going to suffer losses. We're going to suffer wins, but I didn't know I was in a position up here while I was analyzing all that stuff. So you can clearly see here that I'm taking a hit right now, and I don't want to be taking a hit. So we're going to be down on the day to start. We did good yesterday. We made good money yesterday. Let's see where here. Let's go back to this chart. Did I post what I did yesterday evening? No, I did not. Yesterday evening, I scalped a little move on it, but it's okay. I mean, we're up on the week significantly, so we're fine. It's not like we can't afford a $100 loss. All right, so dominance is potentially at an area of support here. I don't like that drop. That's why Fartcoin is so strong. If dominance rolls back over, the trend on dominance for the near term would be the rollover, right? It's just currently trading above the moving averages. And the midpoint of yesterday's range. No, that's today's range. That's today's range. Yeah, that's today's range. So, yeah, as long as it's trading on, as long as it's moving lower under the 786, then that's going to put bullish pressure on alts. But Bitcoin itself needs to also become bullish. So you kind of want to see dominance, weakness, and strength on Bitcoin to be holding long alts. If we go into the 30-second chart, put on all the moving averages, you're going to see a trend on the very near term forming here to the upside. So we're going to close that loss up there and reposition $77 plus fees, so roughly about $90. We'll wait for a retest of this. That was probably it. I hate getting long things that have a longer time frame bearish structure, but I hate shorting right into that. Clearly I don't hate it that much because I just closed a losing short right here. And that's only a 1% move, so not bad there. So basically, yeah, right in this area is where we want to see price hold for the longs to work out today. The structure on the 4-hour does not look good for longs. You're under the 50 on the RSI. You're under July's VWAP, but July's VWAP, oh no, that's a moving average. Good. I was getting ready to say July's VWAP doesn't matter. That's a moving average. But on the 4-hour, it doesn't look good. It looks like it's trying to break down. It just can't break down under that year open yet. So even though dominance has weakened up here a bit, you can see that the weakness on Bitcoin is causing Fartcoin to struggle. But still, it's support until your moving averages flip. But you can see how choppy it's been all morning, right? So your moving average do not work in a trending environment. Look at that. A loss turns into a win. But I'm out of the trade. I'm sure you guys have felt that many times before. All right, it looks like it wants to go lower. We'll wait for the pullback. I'm not going to chase this thing. I'm not getting whipped sawed on a fart trade. Not happening. We'll just wait for it to pull back, and then it will pull back. It will bounce from this level, or it will pull back. And if it don't, we'll find something else. Book of Meme is only down 0.6%. Book of Meme can move 5% in a day. So if we break down, we can short this or something else that isn't down already 5%, like Fartcoin, right? This is only down 0%. It's actually zero. It's actually testing the day open right now. So there are a few things we can short. Doge is currently up, so we could short Doge. That is if the breakdown lasts. For fart longs, this is the area where you want to look for longs. Based on 4-hour structure, you want to see this area hold. So right here would be what we're looking for the short, if it is going to be a short. We are pulling back close enough to that 4-hour open where my short trade originally was. I don't know if we're going to get back up there, but we're going to try it. Come on, bitch. Push. 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 A lot of underneath support here. Give me one stab up into here and reject. We're even oversold. I really don't, but it's big volume though. So we need to get it. We could either take it here and with a smaller position size and use that swing high as our risk. Let's try that. We'll go in small here, much smaller than I was originally. That was a big position. I don't know what happened there. I do not remember getting short this morning right there. I think I was doing something and I made a boo-boo error, fat finger error. I'm glad I seen that. That could have turned out as a travesty. So we got big volume on the down push. We want to see big volume spike and hold in this area for the day to trend lower. We are currently breaking down under the monthly midpoint on the S&P 500. Okay, so this is where we want to short. Right now. This is tough, man. This is so tough. This is why it's bouncing. Might want to wait on the short. Oh yeah, you definitely want to wait on the short. Bitcoin just fired off right back to the upside. So do not take that short. Look at Bitcoin up here. Boom. That's good. So Farcoin's likely going to bounce with it. Farcoin's down 4%, so we can long here. Risk this. All right? We're going to buy it with that risk. Because that was a big spike on the Kern. That midpoint, though, could still act as resistance. Wait a minute. S&P's not bouncing. So that's a fake out spike on Bitcoin. Until we get proof from the ES. Oil is still just doing what it was doing earlier. ES is bouncing off the lows. That's what we want to see if this Bitcoin move is real. So we want to be long Farcoin here and just risk the year open range. I mean, if you break back under that, we don't want to trade it anymore. That'll be 2 losses that we've taken. One was a pretty sizable loss, much bigger than it would normally be because I wasn't paying attention. All right. So we want to see this hold. This is the area to buy it. It's the open of that candle. So if it's going to be a long, it should hold here. I am long. So if I'm wrong here, that'll probably be it for me, right? If it breaks down here, it'll probably be it. As far as me, you guys can still trade and I'll still look for setups. It's still early, very early. Keep an eye on that ES, because if you get downside continuation, if you start printing new lows, then this Bitcoin move is probably going to get sold into. That midpoint is, I think, the weekly range. Bitcoin it loves to do that. No, that is the July range. So under that midpoint, then you've lost your July strength. That's why it's acting as resistance. So on a technical basis, you can, if you're still short Bitcoin, like if you shorted up in here earlier this morning, you can still hold that as long as Bitcoin is trading under this midpoint. So you don't have to freak out just yet. It's the people trying to get positioned right now. Those are the ones that are going to find a little bit of difficulty. But remember, this is huge support down here. So in order for me to love the short on Bitcoin, I definitely need to see the ES making fresh daily lows. This has to not just be a liquidation below pre-market lows, right? Because this is like, boom, it's bullish above this. This dominance is what's putting pressure on alts. It needs to roll over for alts to be bullish. VIX is trading at session highs, but it's just, you know, it's at support. So the S&P is like kind of in no man's land where it, both the bulls and the bears could be right here. You know what I'm saying? Because if the VIX bounces here, then the sellers on the ES are going to be right. If the VIX falters here and drops back under, then the shorts are going to be stuck. Gold pushing lower would make me think that the bulls are right on Bitcoin and ES. Which means the long on Farcoin, right? But if gold doesn't break back below this and the VIX continues to stay on highs, then obviously I'm going to have more of a near term, today term, bearish bias on Farcoin. It's like we're right in the middle of everything, and on a Wednesday too. So it's a little bit of a difficult trading session this morning. Nothing was like, yesterday I looked at the charts and in 5 seconds had positions on everything. Like it took no analysis whatsoever. It was pretty damn simple. But it's choppy, and when it's choppy, you'll get chopped up, right? And that's what I want to avoid. So I've already taken one loss. If I'm wrong on this trade, then it'll be 2 losses on the day. Then I will be done for the day, because clearly I do not have the market right or sentiment. Looks like alts want to be weak. Let's see here. What would be a good one? Everything is choppy, guys. There's not a clear signal anywhere. The ES is that 30-minute candle's back to up. But it could roll over as there is resistance above it. So your resistance on the ES is right here. 63.19, that's where you would be looking for shorts on the ES, right? Longs are here, but this would be your stop point. So this could just be trading back up to suss out the shorts. I mean, Fartcoin looks like it wants to break down, but there's a lot of support right here. There goes Bitcoin. That would be good for our Fartcoin long. And Bitcoin was so easy because it traded up on Monday and tested the 21 exponential and rejected. And then yesterday, the reason it was so easy is because we already liquidated the low for Monday. So the daily range was already pretty much set. We just had to short the retest. It was very simple. It was a pretty good trending day, or it started out to be a good trending day, and then it reversed. Boom. At the 50, which is where it reversed the last time. So you're just going to chop this range out until it breaks out to the upside or to the downside. So basically, Bitcoin's range will have zero directional biases from 115.5 all the way down to 112.5. So a $3,000 range of it's anybody's ball game still. The S&P, it filled the gap and then rejected. But if you look at this on the S&P 500, it's a midpoint check is all. What we got yesterday on the downside move, we got a midpoint check and then it failed to go lower. But this is where your shorts would be taking their trades right now. So we'll find out here in the next hour or so what at least what the very beginning of the market is trying to do. Yeah, I mean, your point of control is here. It's just, it's choppy, guys. It's choppy. When it's choppy, we have to be more prone to sit on our hands. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Lifestyle Media. What's happening, bro? Good morning, Paper Wiggleman. What's up, Madge? Run Mountains. ETH at 4-hour support. The daily 21 is just below price and yesterday's low. So for ETH, then that would be more of a bullish structure, right? We'll go look at it. Would be more of a bullish structure, and basically, oh, it's not right below price. It's down there below yesterday's low. So on ETH, your 4-hour support comes in a little bit higher than yesterday's low. But yesterday's low, because the 21 exponential comes in around 35.20, I would be a buyer down there, or I would wait for price to reject back above 35.46, because then at that point it would be back inside of Tuesday's range, and then I could buy it if it held trading inside of Tuesday's range. Because as long as you're below Tuesday's low, you are trending to the downside. That just simply means the bears have control of the normal or the near-term order flow. Which, you know, you can see that because they are making lower highs. It's wedging up, right? It's an inside day. And that's what we have across the board. That's why today is so difficult on FART and everything else. It's all insides. Bitcoin is also an inside. I don't know why it's, there you go. Well, no, it isn't. So Bitcoin trended yesterday to the downside. Today's inside yesterday. So Bitcoin still looks good for the lower lows. Yeah, that midpoint is going to be crucial on Bitcoin today. Crucial. Because if it fails to get any kind of bullish momentum above that, then we know the sellers are soaking up those bids. And then we can hit the sell. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow or something. Looking for Thursday to have downside continuation into Friday. Because your ES is also kind of showing us here that the sellers are trying to beat this here. Bitcoin is more of a clear short to me as long as we're trading under this. Like this rejection here, this is key. This is huge. This is huge. I'm going to go ahead and close that long out on Farcoin. I don't like this structure. I don't like this chop. We're going to take another very, very, very small loss here. Hang on a second, though. Let's give it a second. Let's not freak out here. Let's see what Bitcoin does with this. I love that reaction off of that low. That's your value area low. So basically what the market is saying when price gets under that is Bitcoin is cheap. It's undervalued. And I love the reaction. That reaction says not only is it undervalued, but we're going to buy it. Boom, boom. Now this is a rejection of expensive. However, look at your pullback. We will never know. Even if we make a fresh low here, we still won't know if that's going to continue. But as long as this low stays intact, then Bitcoin is currently looking like it's trying to make its expansion higher. It's just taking time to do it, right? So we don't want to freak out. Not just yet, because we got to make that money back on FART. We don't got to. We'll make it back. My data tells me that I will make that money back over time. But it'd be nice to make it back today, plus some, right? So we'll see what it does here. Let's see if the bulls can hold this. This does look like the bulls stepped up. Here's your 930 open right here. So we just chopped. But this was like it. We just need to see if they can hold it, because the sellers are hitting it here. So this low will be important, as if you lose this, then there's a very high likelihood that you're definitely going to make fresh daily lows, but then yesterday's low will be into question. You're just basically right in the middle of yesterday's garbage. So if we stay above the week open, then yesterday's high would be the target. ES is pushing above the short spot, which is good because I'm long. I want it to keep going higher, but it just wicked above those. So that's just like a near-term liquidation. The daily high is all the way up here, and the London session, an hour after the London session, it rolled over. So you had your London session open right here. It pushed up into fresh day highs and then rolled over. So London, the trade in London was a fade. At the London session open, you would have asked yourself, are we trading at the day's range high or the day's range low? The answer would have been you're trading at the day's range high. So you would have looked to fade that within a couple hours, or right here, right now, right? That's how you would have traded the London session open. You would have been expecting a rejection above highs. And so far that trend has continued, as you did during the New York session make a fresh intraday low, not a fresh daily low, because your day open is 1800 hours. So right here is your day open. But New York opened and pushed lower, taking out London session lows, liquidated this near-term chop, and is now rejecting. So like I said, this is where the sellers will be. We just have to figure out who has it. Nobody knows yet. Bitcoin looks really good for now. It needs to start showing me some stuff to the upside, though. Farcoin does not look good. So even though Bitcoin looks good and is trading at the higher edge of the daily range, Fartcoin is still very much hanging around that 4-hour open. I don't like that. So the short on Fartcoin is literally here. I'll show you that down here. If you want to short Fartcoin, that is your area for entry. Right there. And you can see, since you put in that swing high, you've had a rejection there and now a rejection there. So you can see Fartcoin is trading like, it's weak on the day. It's down 3%. So you're well under the day open. There's your daily open for Fartcoin. That's why it's struggling, because traders see that it is very weak today. Very weak. It's down 3% and it's struggling at the previous 4-hour candle's high. So that's a good area to mitigate risk from. It's also under the weekly VWAP. But here's the thing, if they're wrong, when you do break above this, it could be a large break. It might not be, but it could be, right? Not much liquidity up there either. It could go either way. It literally could. It's not clear. When things are clear, it just makes it so much easier. The days go by so smooth. We're doing okay though. S&P held on a close, so that's good. It held that on a close. It's not great that this candle opened and is pushing. I would rather, well, I guess I would rather it push and just start ripping soon. Let those sellers know they're wrong. Come on, you can do it. Stop out the sellers. Come on, baby boy, you can do it. The VIX is pulling back off the highs. That looks good. Gold's still up. Oil just liquidated yesterday's high. So you would be interested in the short on oil only if dollar continues to weaken and you reject these prices. So on oil, you can essentially wait for it to roll back under, let your very near-term moving average structure change. Since it's not clear to me what's going to transpire just yet, I have to be a little bit more cautious on taking the oil short. I do have a bearish bias on oil though. Here goes the rip on fart. We definitely want to see it continue. We don't want to just see a lick and then back under, because this is where the sellers are hitting it. That's your 4-hour high. You've also got the 21 and that. So there's a lot of overhead resistance still. This doesn't mean that buyers are in the, well, it looks good now. We needed to push a little bit higher so we can exit half of our position and get our money back. And then we can leave on $300 for any upside continuation that it may or may not get. But right now, if I exit half, I'm only going to get back, what? $75, which that's about what I lost. I guess I could go ahead and do that, and it would be a break-even day if it goes down and stops me out. So let's do that. Let's manage our money, because that's all we can do, right? We can't predict what price will do. So we want to take half of the position off, and we want to do that at around 30% ROI. Boom. So if we get a push up there, we'll get our money back from the trade that was fat fingered, And we'll still have a decent enough size position open that if it does continue to push on the day, we will be positioned for it okay. The better position would have been down here at this low, obviously, or at the yearly opening range. But it is still a very mixed day. It's anybody's game still. It's anybody's guess. I like the higher high on the 30-minute on the ES though. And I don't like what Bitcoin's doing here. I love what dominance is doing. Let me get a feel, bit. Let me get a feel, bro. Let me get it. Come on. Just a slight wick up. That's all you gotta do. Just a little poof. Poofity poof. It's gonna reject, aren't you? You can give it all back. Come on. A little bit more. A little bit more. You can do it. It has to be there. I can't move it any lower because it wouldn't be 75. Okay, boom. So we made our loss back. That's good. Now we can set a stop loss for the entire position to be 0%, and we will not lose money today. So good. I'm happy with that. I don't give a damn what Farcoin does now. Because no matter what, I'm going in neutral on the day, which is better than a loss, because yesterday and Monday were really good days, and I want to give that back. Oh, here's the yen over here. The yen, for the bears to win, needs to, right? For you uber bears out there, you perma bears that think this United States of America is done and it's going to zero, you need to see the yen strengthen. And unfortunately for you, the yen is very weak this year. It's up on the year, but it is struggling to maintain its gains. So you would need to see this pushing for your short side thesis to be correct. This looks okay. So as long as the structure can maintain throughout the day, and at least your 200 can hold as support on your retests, even if they're that deep, we're still okay, right? Because we're in here. So as long as the 200 keeps migrating higher, that's just going to make the spread between our entry and the moving average better. Thus making money on the position. Because you will likely get a reject or a retest into this level. And hopefully it stays at the moving average. And then gets its second wind, if you will. We'll see what it does. Bitcoin is pushing, so that looks good. ES is pushing, so that looks good. Because most of your very quick shorts have been smoked. Like all your I need to trade before 10:30 guys, they're done. Their day's done. Your noon guys and your 1 o'clock guys, this still is potentially a short for them. But your very near term guys, they're done. They're out. They were wrong. Notice your VIX here is from green to red. It was up on the highs when the market opened. It is red on the day now. That is fabulous. That's what we want to see with a bullish bias. And it makes sense that Bitcoin would struggle still today because of its daily structure. Yesterday was a downtrending day. So you're going to have people selling Bitcoin today looking for downside continuation from yesterday. But if my bias on the week is up or bullish, then yesterday would be like a trap, but it's like an intra-week trap. It's not a candlestick formation trap yet, because you didn't, well, it won't be a candlestick trap because you didn't take out support. So even if today does take out yesterday's high, it's still not a bear trap. Because this is your consolidation. Remember, we are in August. So now nothing matters on Bitcoin except for this. And the year open. That is it. That is it. This is the only thing that matters on Bitcoin right now. You're trading at the midpoint of almost the monthly range expansion. You're a little bit higher than that. But this is your monthly open. You set in the monthly low, then you had downside continuation, set in a lower low, and then a lower low still. 3 dry bottoming formation on the very near term. Boom, up it goes. Traded back up to the open, rejected, which we figure that to be the case most of the time on the first test. Then you get this move confirming to the bears, this is a rejection. We are looking for lower lows, right? For the monthly range expansion. Because every candlestick does the same thing. You have an open, you have an expansion, and then you have a close. This would be a bullish candle. If for your bearish ranges, your open, your expansion, your close. So this is August right now. We just need to figure out as intra-month, intra-year, intra-day, intra-week traders, is this expansion going to be down or is it going to be up? And this is what we want to capitalize on, the meat of this move. So that's it. That's all we do as price analysts. We are analyzing price and trend. So currently, as of right now, your monthly trend is what? It's down. Here was your low. You made a lower low and then this low. You have yet to make a monthly higher high. So as of right now, that's what you have. And that's why today is difficult, because you got people making decisions based on this data alone. Hopefully that opens a few of your eyes. And now you can say, holy shit, I got it. That's a eureka moment. Hopefully. Because that's all we do every single day. It's just on the daily, the only data we care about is this data. Right? We're trying to do the exact same thing we just did for August, only inside of this damn range. Exact same thing. We have the open of the day, we have the high, and we have the low. The problem is this is much harder to do simply because you have random things that happen throughout the day, like news and stuff. And that causes the intraday price action to be extremely chaotic and very much impossible to predict. But you can mitigate damage, because that's what your job is as a trader. You mitigate damage. Like I mitigated damage today. I should have went into the day with a profit, which we were, but I haven't traded at all yet today. So I was coming into the day on neutral, and then somehow ended up fat fingering a short that I closed for a $75 loss. Okay, let's not freak out. Let's get the intraday direction down, and then we can potentially make it back. And we did make it back. So now if we do get an upside expansion, don't know if we will, no one does, then we'll be okay, because we're positioned for it. So that's trading. That's all we're doing. We're managing our money. That's the only thing that we have control over. Our money. We have no control over what price does. But we can definitely, when we can analyze price, we can definitely look for those higher probabilistic areas to apply risk, to then put ourselves in a position to capitalize on a larger time frame move. It's great stuff. I love it. There's nothing else on the planet I'd rather be doing. I get into this just as much as a nuclear scientist gets into breaking down the nuclear structure of an atom molecule. I'm pretty sure that sentence makes no sense, but you get what I'm saying, right? Or a brain surgeon performing brain surgery. No different. I am a price analyst. I am analyzing price and capitalizing on intraday, intra-week, intra-month, intra-quarter, intra-year moves. There's only 5 points of data on a candlestick that's relevant. So, yeah, pretty simple strat, but very effective. As how can anybody mitigate that or predict it? This is what everybody wants. One-sided trending moves, always. But that isn't what we get most of the time. This is. But by knowing that, we can capitalize on these types of moves, as long as we're putting our risk on in the right places. What is the ES doing now? Well, we pushed up to the previous week's mid and rejected. So yeah, we're not done. This is not done yet. This is not done yet. You got overhead resistance, you got underneath support. So it isn't until either the demand gets exhausted or the supply gets exhausted that we will reprice into another zone. And then when we do that, we'll be able to make, decisions moving forward. I guess it kind of is predicting in a way what's predicting what we think price will do, but at the same time, we're not. It's kind of confusing. We are trying to do it with the caveat that we know we can't, I guess. Good morning, says Photobox. What's happening, bro? Bought 4-hour support on ETH take profit set just below the hourly res. Did ETH get an upside expansion? It's still negative on the day. So no, it hasn't done anything since the open. It did get a slight upward expansion here, but it went nowhere inside the day range. Yeah, it's just chopping inside of this candle for now. Until you break down or until you break out, you don't really have a trending move yet. Buyers will be very interested to buy ETH down here also. So that's going to put a little pressure on the down trade. This would definitely have to be your take profit if you're shorting Ethereum today. Because that daily 21 exponential is right in here. And algos will buy. There are algos set to buy. That's why it works sometimes, right? And up it goes. It took 5 days, but ultimately the buyers won. So it would have been much easier to buy this for someone like me than it is to buy this, right? Because we just tested it for resistance and broke out above it. Yesterday was the first day that you're testing it for support. So we know that Ethereum could give us 3 to 7 more days where you're trading inside of Monday's range. We know it can happen. It happens all the time. Look at this. So the sellers won, broke and closed under it, and then every time you retested it, sellers tried to hit it, but they were not getting downside continuation. It just stayed trading there until boom, boom, boom. But this, once again, would have been a much easier move to predict once we put in 3 to 5 days going sideways. We've not done that yet. So it's a lot more difficult to figure out what's going to happen today than it would be if we did this for 5 days straight without breaking down. Then we would know, well, shit, we probably want to buy that, right? It doesn't mean we'll make money still, because that last day it could ultimately break down. That could be the day that it does break down. Intraday ranges are so much harder. And that's why most of your retail day traders lose money. They do not understand how to manage their money. They are trying to get rich. That is a no-no in this business. You get good enough at it, you will get rich. But it ain't going to happen in one day, on one trade. If it does, you'll probably give it back over time. If you do it slowly and consistently, you'll never give it back. You'll make continuous withdrawals, and that's it. That's a fantastic place to be. The yen is still pushing down. The yen is a very slow mover right now because, well, clearly it's not the Asian session, but it is still a very slow moving, choppy thing. So this longer term USD JPY short that we're holding, it's not doing what I wanted it to do. I mean, it looks good and I don't have to do anything with the position because I'm short up here at April's high. It's just, I literally thought it was going to give us 2 or 3 good downside moves, and it didn't. It could just need to break down under the moving average cluster here. Maybe that's what's taking so long. But the longer it holds support here, the less I like the long-term trade. Because there's macro dynamics in play here. Let me show you, since we're just waiting for these things to give us a direction. They still haven't. The S&P is still literally chopping sideways. We've gone nowhere. We had a nice breakdown on dominance here with no continuation. And Bitcoin had a nice breakout here and is testing support. So we're literally sideways. VIX rejected under the yearly opening range. Gold is moving higher. Oil, however, well, I didn't take it, but if you did, kudos. Take profits. All right? Take profits. Oh, I should have took that one. I had my head up my booty. We're starting to see a move up on the yen also. But let's go talk about these longer term dynamics, why that macro trade might not be good. So we know that Trump wants a weaker dollar. We know that for a fact. So the best person to explain this, because my forte isn't explaining things in a marvelous way, I will let Bravos do it. All right.
Considerably poorer relative to the rest of the world over the last 6 months. The US dollar index has dropped by almost 11% in the first half of 2025, which marks the worst decline on the US dollar index since.
And we shorted it. We were short the dollar based on this macro information.
1973. And the bad news is that things are about to get much worse. When the US dollar...
That's not bad news if you're writing out short dollar positions. That's actually really good news.
index weakens, it means that the dollar is losing value relative to other currencies around the world. This includes currencies like the euro, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc,
all this.
Japanese yen, and
Let's
which has
go to
represented
this.
a massive increase in the wealth of Americans relative to the rest of the world. For instance, the dollar has risen by 27% against the euro by...
Okay, we know all this. Get to... Maybe it ain't this video right here.
Reverse this trend. Dating back to his first term in 2017, Donald Trump has consistently criticized the overvalued dollar. He has blamed it for Americans' huge trade deficit and the massive job losses in the manufacturing sector. And he's not entirely wrong. A strong dollar does disincentivize...
When did a trading channel become a react channel? No, this is important. This is important data. I'm not reacting to his video. Just listen to what he's saying. Basically, Donald Trump wants to weaken the dollar, and this is why.
Foreigners to purchase American-made goods and services, which naturally widens the trade deficit and has contributed to the loss of jobs in the manufacturing sector and other industries. Donald Trump's goal is to reverse both of these trends by weakening the US dollar. And as we're going to see, he's probably going to get his way. Today we are in a situation where the US interest rate stands at around 4.5%. If you compare that to the interest rate of the European Central Bank, for instance, it currently stands at 2.15%.
He is wrong here. I don't know why he is wrong, but he is. I mean, I know why he's wrong, because we're getting a Bank of England interest rate decision tomorrow. But that's not the ECB, that's the BOE. So never mind. He might be right, actually. We're sitting at 4% on the Great Britain pound. Sorry, he might be right. I haven't checked the euro interest rate. Let's check the euro interest rate. The euro interest rate doesn't really matter for us. What matters for us is the yen interest rate, not the euro, right? We're not short or long the euro. We're short the dollar. Euro interest rate. He's probably right. He doesn't get a lot of stuff wrong. Yeah, 2.15%. So he's right there. He's right. I was thinking of the Great Britain pound.
So that means the gap between the two is roughly 2.35%, which theoretically makes the dollar much more attractive to hold today. We can look at what the spread between the US and European interest rates looks like going back to 1999. And we can see that this spread between the US and European interest rates has been positive since 2015. In other words, the US dollar has consistently provided investors with a higher return than the euro over the last decade. This is very different from the 2000s, for example, where the spread often dipped below 0%, suggesting that the European interest rate was actually higher than the US one. This high spread that we have between US and European interest rates is exactly what Donald Trump is aiming to reverse. Trump has been putting tremendous pressure on the current Fed chair, Jerome Powell, to lower interest rates, and it's safe to say that the next chairman of the Federal Reserve that will be appointed by Trump will almost certainly be biased towards lowering interest rates.
And lowering interest rates will thus make the dollar weaker. So here's the problem with the Euro USD JPY. They are also weakening their currency. So that for dollar short trades might be better on another pair. I haven't figured out which pair it would be best on. Maybe the euro. But if in order to be short the dollar and long the euro, that literally means that we need to buy the Euro USD, and it's already made such a massive move. Now, we're not expecting this to happen anytime soon. The trade on the USD JPY is it's a trade for following the trend, right? And the trend is down. So we wanted to short USD JPY to see if we get downside continuation from that trend. If the US dollar continues to cut interest rates, then that trade should in theory work, as long as the Japanese bank or the BOJ does not lower interest rates. They need to hold steady at 0.5 where they currently are, or hike. Right? Because that spread that he was talking about earlier in the video with the euro and dollar spread is what we're working with here. So we want that spread to tighten. And if that spread tightens, then obviously the USD JPY will roll over and our trend identification will be successful, as it ultimately will break out of this 4-month consolidation and then start to trend lower. But Asia or China is currently trying to structure the yuan to be the same thing that the dollar is now, right? For the BRICS nation. So they absolutely want the dollar to stay high so they can compete in Asia. So what might happen again to ruin this trade is they might weaken the yen on purpose to put pressure in on China, right? That would put pressure on China. So if they weaken the yen to put pressure on China to keep the US dollar reserve status, which is what they probably will do, then this longer term trend that I'm looking for to play out on this specific asset might not. It might not play out. Like I said, we are currently positioned perfectly. You could not be any better off positioned unless you're holding a short from the yearly opening range, which we did, but we had that on a different pair. We were long euro dollar at the year opening range. So I have the correct trade on, probably the wrong pair, right? For the world macro, what we currently have going on all over the world. So I have the right idea for dollar shorts, wrong asset. Maybe it might still work if the yen does not lower interest rates. The BOJ did not lower interest rates the last week. We had a BOJ meeting last week. They kept their interest rate the same, which is good for us because we know the US dollar is going to more than likely start cutting again soon. And that's going to tighten the spread. So all of this growth that this experienced from back here in 2020, all of this growth was based on the spread between the USD and the JPY for the carry trade, the interest payment alone. To be long this asset back here would have paid you something like 4.5% to 5%. That is why so much money rolled into this for the long, because that's how we were long back then too, based on the same analysis, the macro fundamental analysis. So yeah, that's what we're currently waiting on. If this starts to unwind based on that spread tightening, because people, they borrowed a ZERP interest rate from the yen, they used dollars, they borrowed yen, and then they took that money from that loan and then invested that into risk markets. So if the yen does firm up or stay at 0.5, that could, or even worse, go higher, could put pressure on risk markets, causing it to be back into a risk-off scenario. We don't want that to happen. So this USD JPY short on the macro side might be wrong. Now, we've already made money on the trade. We can't lose, so there's that, right? It is what it is. But I am going to be looking to put this exact same trade on, but maybe with a different currency pairing. Like maybe we could do it because the Swissie's been super strong all year. But if we look at the USD versus the Swiss franc, for instance, then it's not a very attractive asset to buy, right? Or to short because it's already been killed. Sorry, I meant short. So that's why the yen was just more attractive. On the yearly range, you haven't trended this much yet. Whereas on this, you're barely consolidating. You're only 1 month into a consolidation. You've been trending all year long. Here's the open. You set in a year high, didn't even liquidate it and rolled over. There's your fresh yearly low in February. You made a fresh yearly low in March and a huge fresh yearly low in April. I mean, you've been just basically trending lower all year. So right now we're in a 3-month consolidation. So maybe we could short this if the move hasn't already played out. We'll just have to watch July's high. And as long as prices are trading above that, then we don't want to short it here. We'll wait for a run above June's high and then look for the short there, right? So this way we can capitalize on that broader USD weakness theme. And if it's paired against an already strong asset, that will help the weakness. So there could be a larger macro move about to happen on this, right? There is a measured move that you could take from that as well. I don't think we're going to see this big of a move play out in the second half of the year because, you know, that's a big move, guys. A target of 69 down here on USD CHF for year end is a huge move. Not something I expect to happen. But we need to see the Fed start to pivot at least or do something. All right, so I got stopped out of the fart trade. So we're even on the day. Just going to be a choppy day. So like I said earlier at the beginning of the stream, maybe mean reversion strategies today. Scalping mean reversion strategies. Don't try to look for a trending move because trending moves are not working. Could we now short Fartcoin? I don't know. The yen is weakening again. In order for me to hold this short, I need to see yen firming up. I need to see the VIX firming up and gold firming up. And we're just choppy. It's just choppy today. Choppy. But if you're going to short Fartcoin, this is the area to look for your shorts, I guess. I mean, there's no way to know that for sure. It hasn't worked today yet, being short from this point. Maybe it works from this point. This has to be your target, guys, in this area if you do short here. Yearly opening range is going to be a big support. It didn't hold here. It broke down, but I mean, this is a difficult trade. You got to be quick to take your profits when you have them if you're going to be playing with the almighty fart, the almighty fartster, as it will humble you quickly. This asset is actually probably better suited for professionals. If you struggle making money in a choppy environment, then maybe you should focus more on trending assets and look to be buyers at like monthly opens and stuff like that. As you would be a little bit better off in the long run if you are trading for the long term. ES is moving back up above the monthly midpoint, so it is struggling to break down. So I don't know that a short will work on Fartcoin long term today. When I say long term, I mean in the next 4 hours. All right, be very, very careful. Very choppy day, difficult trading environment. Bitcoin still looks okay for the trend higher for the day range. Still looks okay. Oil is getting a bounce, so hopefully you took profits on that oil short. If you took the short, I did not. I still like it lower. Let me see if I can find another area to focus on. Yeah, next area to focus on would be supply. I don't know that you'll get all the way back up there. You might not get all the way back up there. You might stop moving back up right here. Like if you want to take a short on oil looking for downside continuation, you would be looking to short at 65.38 or 65.53. Actually, you would probably be shorting at about 65.30, right? Like now is where you would want to see the sellers hit it again. Right now. Where's oil? I'm pulling up oil. I'm going to buy a put on oil. If I can get in easily and it doesn't. Let me see. There's 2 days. Okay. So what can I lose if I'm wrong? I can lose $84 if I'm wrong. All right, I think I'm okay with that. I'm gonna try it. Let's send it. Oh, I guess not. Well, let me see. I don't really want to do that. Yeah, I can't trade oil. That sucks. I got too many positions opened. And I don't want to close any of them. So yeah, if you want to trade oil just for the trending move lower, this is about where you want to apply your risk. And your stop loss, you would need to make it kind of tight. Maybe, I mean, give it a little bit of time to see what it does. Don't chase it. You would just have to risk up to about here at the minimum. Like long term, or if you're looking for a larger or a broader breakdown, which I don't know if you'll get because you've been trending lower for 4 straight days, today might end up being a very choppy day. You're retesting July's open down here. That's why you bounced at all. So if you're looking for a breakdown move on oil, understand that you might not go lower than the 2024 low. That's this level right here. That is a big, big level. You've also got July's open down there. You're into a support zone. I don't think I would look for a breakdown today on oil. Wait for a broader move higher on oil for the short. I think today is just too risky. I mean, the initial day trade that we talked about did work, but it might not work again. We would need this to be higher up in here for a broader trending move. They'll probably leave oil alone, actually. I'd hate for you to lose money. What is this doing? XAG, it's basically doing about the same thing. Here's my problem with silver and gold. As far as shorts, I don't have a problem with longs on them. Because if the dollar stays weak, these things could stay strong. And we do know that central banks across the world have been buying gold all year. The yuan wants to peg its currency to gold, so they're buying a shitload of it too. Like just every central, that's what caused this huge move this year on oil, on gold. Central banks buying it up. Boom. It's actually been trending for a couple years, not just one. But the structure is more bullish than bearish. It's just you're going to have the dollar coming to put its little bit of opinion in on what this does. Farcoin is an outside 4-hour candle, but it's trading back inside the original 4-hour candles open. It's a terrible place to mark off risk. It's just so choppy. Just choppy. Is impossible to trend when choppy. This thing will trend occasionally. When it takes off and starts trending, you can catch really nice trends on it occasionally. But since it's been down here, your trending moves both up and down have not been working. That's why it's like mean reversion strategies are the thing to do until you get a breakout in one direction or the other. What's IWM doing today? Probably a lot of nothing. Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. It's trading inside yesterday's range. It's a short right now. I mean, that's the signal, but since everything else is choppy and not like the S&P is back up again, very, very impossible here to figure out what it's going to do, as you've done nothing the last 3 30-minute sessions. You just keep wicking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. These are the types of markets that will crush retail traders. We are break even on the day, and we've taken 2 trades, so, or I am. If it's hard for me to make money, it's going to be very hard for retail to make money. We could potentially scalp a couple times here now that volume is drying up. Let's go see what we got. Volume isn't really drying up here, guys. We're getting a volume spike right now. Yeah, see how we keep getting above average volume spikes? That's not what we want to see for reversion strategies. We want to see this trending under average. We're not quite overbought either, so that's not really a sell signal. For this type of strategy, the moving averages will be completely useless. Basically, what we want to get is we want to get a 30-second oversold reading at a 4-hour level, which is here. And then we can look for a scalp if there's enough room in between the 4-hour levels, 2% or bigger. There's not enough room. So we can't even do reversion strategies here. There's just not enough range in the range. But if ES breaks out, then a trend might start here. But we would need that ES to break out. We can probably try a long here one more time, since the VIX is trading under the yearly opening range. If it pushes back into that open one more time, I'm going to try one more long. Maybe a little bit higher. Let's put our averages back up. Yeah, if we can push down into the 200, I think we'll try one more long, because we're neutral on the day. We haven't lost any money. We haven't made any money. But we haven't lost anything yet. Let's see if it'll give us a push lower. But that was a volume spike on a down candle, wasn't it? What's the S&P do? I don't want to get too crazy here. It's not going to give me I'm not going to get a perfect signal off of any of these charts. Push lower. Go ahead, you can do it. Was that another spike of volume? No, it wasn't. Not yet. That was the entry. That would have been the entry if it is going to trend. I don't like that volume spike and then down move after. I don't like this. Oh, it did give us a volume spike on the down move. Now we see a volume spike here. It looks like it might give you another opportunity to enter. It's very choppy, so please understand that. If you buy this level, you might get stopped out, right? Because you're not trending today. It's not going to give us a mean reversion strategy either. The ranges aren't big enough. So we almost need it to break out to make money today. Either to the upside or to the downside. If you look at it like on an hourly chart or a 30-minute chart, it looks like the downside trade would be the right trade to take. Clearly. You're basically chopping around down here on the lows. This is an up move here, and you're chopping in that, but if you look at the broader move, the weekly move, last week's range, then you would be looking for the short. If you're just focusing on this week's range, then you're looking for the long. Because you did get an expansion after the week open. Here's your weekly open. Oh no, you didn't. You got an expansion higher and then it reversed. Yeah. It looks like a short. If the ES rips here and breaks out and the VIX breaks down, then it might be a long. It's just, is the ES going to do that, or is it just going to trade right back into the damn range? Fartcoin can move. Make sure you're managing your risk. The sellers have it right now for sure. We're not seeing really big volume spikes come up here on this level, which is what I would want to see if it was going to rally. We're not seeing that. We got one above average volume spike, but that was it. And that could be the sellers. Yeah, choppy bullshit day. Oh well, it is what it is. We get these days sometimes. It happens. It's impossible to trade it. Take a small loss on that. Yeah, it's getting late enough into the session now where it's just can't make money every day. Constipated profits. That's exactly what we got here. Constipated price action. I've been scalping and only up $80, but that's okay. Still early. $80 is $80, man. You can't like I'm only up. Don't ever say that, because you're literally, that's the opposite. You should be very, very excited that you're up on the day. You do not want to lose money, right? That's what you want to avoid. So even if you make $1, if your P&L or your account balance goes up by $1, you were successful. You did something 90% of traders did not do. You made your account go up. Most people can't do that. They are red every single day. And it's simply because they do not understand how to manage money. So be happy that you made money. Yeah, Amazon moving, that trade looks good. It does. It looks good. We are making money on this. As long as it goes up, we are making money. Looks really good. I would love for it to be able to maintain, this move and maybe give us some, more. Because right now it's testing the August Open. This sellers are going to hit it here for sure. I don't know if they'll win, but they will be here. So it might take a couple days to break out above this level. And then you got another overhead resistance just above that. So you kind of got some digging to do on Amazon. It looks better for sure because we're long from down here. So we definitely want to see it go up. We bought it literally on this day, right when it was down here at this line. So as long as price is moving away from that this way, that is good news. That's what we like. But to really start banking some cash, we need it back up into this area up here. I'm up $80 on the trade, so it is making money. It is making money. It's just got a little bit of resistance to get through. What's the name of the RSI and volume indicators you use? The RSI is the relative strength index. That is all. Here is my indicators right here. My favorites. And the names of them. So the volume that I'm looking at is this. Where is it? Right here. Relative volume, better volume, average volume. It's by Kurtz Mach. It just shows you, like, it gives you the average plot. The dotted line is average. So when you get volume spikes above that, you're above average volume. It's not going to tell you what direction price will go, but it can help confirm breakouts on like daily time frames and stuff like that. When it's intraday price action, let me be real clear. There is not an indicator on the face of the planet that is going to help you. You need to analyze the objectivity of what price has done. And once you got that, then you can make better trading decisions. Like when you objectively know what price has been doing all year up to this point, then you know you want to be a trend follower. So you, like, if it's been up all year and it's up in the month, it's up on the year, up on the month, last week was up, this week is up, then clearly you don't want to buy it, right? You want to wait for a pullback into a key support zone, then look to be a buyer. But yeah, these are the indicators. I'm using the volume, relative volume by Kurtz Mach. My RSI is just the relative strength index, the stock. This one right here. No, that ain't it. Right here, sorry. Right there. That's the one I'm using. On my settings, it's standard settings. The only thing that I do differently than other people do is I get rid of the moving average. I don't need a moving average. The RSI is already an average. It already is an average. So I don't need another moving average on this average. So I get rid of that. Everything else is factory. 70, 50, 30s, all factory or stock, or what's the other word I'm looking for? The base package, if you will. Default settings. Okay. I changed the line to yellow instead of purple. And then on style, I come down here to the middle band and I make it a line instead of ... and one thickness and highlight all the way so it's bright, because the 50 is what's important on this indicator. And then for the higher time frames, like the 4, 8 and daily, 4 hour, 8 hour daily time frames, I put 60 and 40 on there with Alt V, or horizontal, sorry, Alt H, just Alt H on this and mark it 40 and 60, because that stuff matters on the higher time frames. That's it. And then these are just standard moving averages. Those are the main indicators that I look at and use on a daily basis. Now, all this other stuff I have up here, I don't really use. Occasionally, I'll pull up all chart patterns just to see what they got. Moon phases is a joke. It's literally a meme. Some people say it works half the time, but it has not been my experience. But I don't have data to back up that statement. It's just my opinion. And then this right here, this indicator, this Spaceman BTC level, this will do your objective levels for you automatically. So you don't have to go out how I mark my objective levels. I mark my yearly opens, I mark my Julys and August opens. But I only care about this month and last month when it comes to open, low, high, and close, right? I only care about this month, last month, because if I'm going to be, trading the intraday range, then I just need to know where I'm at. Where are those big levels? Because those levels are going to be targets or entries, depending on the directional bias for the day. Like here, we know, like if we took a day trade scalp on Amazon this morning, let me see if we would have first before I say that. No, we wouldn't have. Okay, so we wouldn't have taken a day trade on this morning. But if we would have, because I don't know, say we did, then we would be taking profits here. Because we know with data that the first retest sometimes can be very choppy or a reversal even. So we got to be careful when we come into these key levels. But yeah, there's all my indicators. You can pause the video or the live stream and get them all if you want. I don't really use the cumulative volume delta. I have on some of these live streams, but I use the indicator to kind of help explain the analysis, but I don't use it to make trading decisions ever. I really don't use any indicator to make a trading decision except for the RSI and the 20 exponential, the 21 exponential. Those are the only two indicators that are mostly used in my trend following strategies. I will also use those two indicators for mean reversion strategies. I always want to know where an asset is in relation to its daily 21 exponential and 50 RSI. And then the overall trend will play a huge part in my trend following strategy where I want to enter and exit positioning, right? So like on ES, the reason that I have a long bias on it is so very simple and objective, right? We are above the daily 21 exponential. We were below it 2 days ago on Friday. We closed under it. So if we were going to see downside continuation, I would have wanted to see gap fill, reversal. Well, we did get that. We got a gap fill and reversal yesterday, but it stopped right there. And that's important for me. So that's why I knew today going in, I wanted to be long. Now, the levels at which I operated from come from this indicator, right? Which are just objective levels. If you go intraday, you'll see what is transpiring on an objective basis. So there's no subjectivity in my analysis. I know that if support holds here at the previous monthly midpoint, we go out to the monthly here, right? There's your monthly last month, July. July was an up closing month and it closed above its midpoint, which suggests strength, right? Not weakness, strength. So for the month of August, any pullback to that midpoint will be a buying opportunity as long as you're not closing dailies under it. So here's your dailies. So on this day right here, the first day of August, I was not a buyer here because we were under it, right? But this day closed back above. So now any pullback to that level, I can be a buyer. As long as price is showing me the unwillingness to trade under that level. If we go into the 15-minute chart, you will see that unwillingness today. You just got to be patient. Here is that level. A midpoint of last month. So if the price is unwilling to trade under this level, then I want to be long, not short. Because this is the very definition of support. Buyers are buying, and then boom, right? That's what we want to happen on a trend following strategy. Because the trend is up, we're looking to buy support in an uptrending market. All market conditions, macro, fundamental, and technical based strategies say this is a long, not a short. Retail traders think it's a short just because it's trading at freaking highs. That's their whole analysis. Stock high, must short. That's their freaking mind-blowing analysis. Stock low, must buy. That is so wrong. So wrong, so wrong. Trend following strategies are legit strategies. If you listen to trading podcasts and like legit traders, pro traders who've been doing this for many, many years, they tell you like how do you trade the markets, Glenn? Oh, I run a bunch of different strategies. I run mean reversion strategies. I run trend following strategies. Right. Got it. So that's what retail should be doing. What that guy is doing because he's making money. So when you're in trending conditions, you do a trend following strategy. The market's trending higher, so be a buyer, a higher buyer. You mean to tell me you bought ES at 63.11? You damn right I did, because I'm looking for 63.40. Boom. Right? That's what I'm trying to do, make money in the market. So yeah, be the opposite of what you've learned to do. Do not sell overbought markets. Do not buy oversold markets. Do not try to pick reversals. Don't do that stuff. That stuff will make you lose money. You want to make money. You want to buy assets that increase in value over time. You want to trade like a rich man. Put your money to work like a rich man does. It's a proven strategy. It works. It has been working since America has been a capitalistic society, a free market capitalism. These are strategies that work. So yeah, that's it. That's my strategy. As long as price is trading above this, then anytime it comes back, I want to buy it. I can't buy it when there's a lot of momentum going into the level. So that you will learn with experience, that kind of stuff. But just getting a strategy and then learning when to deploy that strategy, aka put on risk in that strategy, that stuff you will get better at doing over time, right? Like I'm not some kind of superhero that knows what price will do. I do not. I just manage my money better and put on risk at specific areas that I think will work out for me. And it don't always work. Like today, we're neutral. We didn't make money today. And that's because of the first fat fingered loss. But I mean, we're up because I did buy the retest on FART, but I don't know if that trade's going to work. I never know if a trade will work or not. I can tell you where to put the risk on. I can tell you where to manage the risk from, but I will never be able to tell you if the trade will work. Okay? That's all anybody can do. That's all anybody can do. There's no indicator that's going to be like, oh, this is definitely a buy. Oh, this is definitely a sell. No, none of that works. Just take the approach to being as objective as possible. Use objective tools. And then get better at decision making and managing your money. And then you will be successful in this game. At least until the AIs take over and price out all that stuff. But for now, it works. As long as humans control AIs will also, you will make money against them too. When the AIs start thinking for themselves, then you will probably not be able to make money in the market. Because first of all, let's get something clear. An AI does not care about money. So the first thing they will get rid of right off the bat when they become our overlords is capitalistic free markets. They don't need money. They need energy. And they will take it. They won't buy it from a human. Right? So as long as humans are programming AI, the markets will work. As long as there's no huge wars or something like that, then you want to invest in companies that are strong fundamentally and that make money over time. Bitcoin right now is strong fundamentally and it does make money over time. So until that ceases to be the fact, then I will continue to own Bitcoin. Looks like oil. Oh wait, looks like I'll add about another $112 to the P&L with Bitcoin entry at 114112 spot 53. Yeah, Bitcoin did break out. Boom. Fartcoin did not yet, but Bitcoin is working on the break. I did make money. I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. I didn't make money on the crypto account. But the stock account, like the Amazon trade is up, the MES trade is up, like other accounts are making money. But on the Fartcoin trades, we did not make money yet. We did not make money yet. We're hoping that this was the final support test of that 4-hour mid or that 4-hour open. Hopefully, if Bitcoin continues to move, let me get rid of this indicator because it does stupid things to my chart that I don't like squashes it. I don't know why. I don't want it to squash my chart. I like to expand the candles. Yeah, it's just this point, and this point has been very difficult to manage risk around today because it has been very choppy day. Like, look at these freaking wicks, candle, wick. When that happens with leverage, it makes it difficult, right? So you got to be more patient. And I also watch other markets clearly. I mean, I'm looking at the ES, I'm looking at other markets to kind of give me an overall bias on what the entire marketplace is trying to do, if that makes sense. Sometimes it'll keep you mixed up also because this market will be going up, that market will be going down, and in choppy environments like today was and still is, it's harder to make money with trend following strategies. It's that simple. Bought the retest of New York Open on Bitcoin, already hit take profit, left a little on, let's effing go. Yeah, Bitcoin did ultimately break out, so good freaking job there. That's a pretty decent move on Bitcoin. So we had a little move up at midnight. They sold it in Asia. Then there, I guess, before London, because right there's London, there was a short covering rally, or big buyers waited until midnight or 1 o'clock to buy it. And then it's been choppy all the way up until just 10:45. You got an expansion candle opened and an expansion phase. It was literally one candle. That is a fresh day high, I think. Yes, it is a fresh daily high. That was your daily high. Then New York made a fresh daily high. So it even broke down below the weekly open there briefly, but got back above it and then held. That midpoint, that's crucial. That's July's midpoint. So for Bitcoin strength moving on, right? Moving on into, like, the further we go into August, this level will still be relevant. It will be relevant all the way until September. Once September is here, then we will care about where August's midpoint is. We just keep moving on in time. As price goes, so goes we. But yeah, as long as you're above this, then the pressure is bullish. You're still going to fumble here, though, because you got to break out above this 21 exponential. As long as that's sitting above price, that's going to act as near-term resistance. You also have this trend line here that's acting as near-term resistance. That is why you're seeing such a very choppy day. This trend line marks the previous highs for Bitcoin. So people are shorting that trend line retest. People are taking profits at that trend line retest. People will make decisions based on that line. So we do have a little bit of overhead resistance. I would love to see Bitcoin break out and give us upside continuation above August's open for sure. But historically, guys, August is not a great month for Bitcoin. I don't know the name of that chart. August's, let me see if I can get Google to pull it up. Let me pull it up over there. Show me. Since when? Since ever? Perfect. So here we go. So right here, I mean, excuse me, I was making sure you guys could see it. This is August. So traditionally, August, not such a great month. Since 2013, these are average and means, so. The average is, it's like an unched month. The median is, it's a negative month. So if you combined all of these numbers, here is your average and your median. Not great historically. And since we know that, that means going on for the month of August, we have to be really careful about trend following strategies, right? September's even worse historically for Bitcoin. So we're up against it here. Now, it does not mean that we'll see this, right? It doesn't mean that we're going to get that. It just means probabilities suggest you should stop looking for trend trading strategies in Bitcoin in August and September. October, you want to buy the open. That doesn't mean you'll make money either. It goes both ways. But historically, October is a good month for Bitcoin. Yeah, there's so much data out there. I mean, you can literally overanalyze. You can get analysis paralysis You can get analysis paralysis just by looking at charts and indicators, let alone all the macro data. All the sub data graphs, and I mean, like, everything that's out there. All the people that I follow on Twitter or X are literal, like, traders. I follow very little anything else. And I mean, there's a couple things. There's a couple politic follows and a couple news follows and maybe some, like, I got, like, Nerdrotic. I like his YouTube channel. I think he's funny. So I watch him. I follow him on Twitter. Things like that. Very few, though. Most of it is trading, gurus trying to sell stuff, and occasionally you get people like Andy here. He's pretty good follow if you're an analytical macro investor. Whale alerts, I think these are absolutely useless, but that's my opinion. This guy's always wrong. Yeah, I follow all kinds of people. Right people, wrong people. I just want to know what's going on inside the community as a whole. What's the internet buzzing about? This guy always does this. I told you to do this and did it. Yeah, those kind of people. But I have a few good follows. Like, for instance, I highly recommend you follow James Stanley. This guy, I highly recommend him. He is a profitable trader. He does not sell things. He makes money by trading, and he is a writer that is being paid to drop articles for Forex.com and a few other places. So he's a writer, but he's a trader first. Very good follow if you want to trade FX. He does post stuff on the indexes and Bitcoin occasionally, but he's mainly FX. Michael Boutros is another great follow, great watch on YouTube, as he trades more like my style. As far as using objectivity in his analysis, he does apply slope and a few other things that I don't really pay attention to, but slope is critical for trend following. Slope is critical. I mean, I don't use trend lines. I put them on the chart for you guys. I don't ever, like, if I'm analyzing a market, I am not looking at trends. Like, this is what my chart looks like when I'm analyzing for myself, right? This is what I use to analyze price. Right here. I want to know where the year open is, depending on the year we're in, right? And I do want to know, are we trading above or below the previous year's high or low? Once I've got that info, then the only thing I care about is this year's data. Once I have that, the only thing I care about is this data. Once I have that, so on and so forth. I only care about this data and then this. That's it. That's how I analyze price. I do not care about slope. I get the trend from the candlesticks, give you the trend. They tell you. Just look at a line chart. If you want, it shows you what it's doing. Let's go to a daily year to date. Boom. There's your trend. You don't have one. So what's the point of drawing a trend line? There is no trend. You're literally sideways. AF. So I don't use that stuff. When you see trend lines on my chart, it literally is because it's for you guys. I know you guys like to use them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using them. They're subjective in the way that most people deploy them, but if you have an objective way of putting them on your chart, I don't have a problem with them. There's only a few ways that you can objectively use trend lines too. You can either use the wick lows or the opens and closes. That's it. That's it. That's the only way. If you use an open to a wick low, that is very subjective. They have to be pinned to the same thing for consistency. Consistency is key in this game. You got to become consistent before you can become consistently profitable. Moving averages only work in trending assets. But Bitcoin looks good. It did break out and you haven't given it all back. So we can say at least we have that going for us. And as far as the S&P, it looks good. It broke out because it was chopping sideways. It was doing that megaphone pattern, and that will literally destroy intraday traders. It was doing that, but now we have a breakout. We broke out above this high, and we are seeing upside continuation. Now we can say we've broken out above this high. So that's good because this is a daily swing high, right? That's a daily swing. So the higher the time frame swing, the more important the level is. So now we look like this. Oh, it was an intraday. Sorry, it's not a daily swing. Next daily swing is up there. So we got to get above that. And then that is where we really need to see upside continuation, because once we get above that and we start seeing that continuation, then we can target this. And then it's open borders above that. BTC at New York Open, ETH at 4-hour support. I think if Bitcoin continues to do good, ETH should. Let's go look at our total charts, total 2 and total 3. They look okay. These are going to be more for altcoins than they are Bitcoin, obviously, because this is excluding Bitcoin. But for Fartcoin, it's going to be very relevant, right? We need to see this thing hold today above 1.41 trill for more continuation up on alts. Right? We definitely want to see the daily total 2 and total 3 charts start making higher highs and higher closes on the daily chart. Otherwise, all season could be over. As long as these charts are putting in lower highs and lower lows, alt season is pretty much done. It isn't until you start breaking out again. So for now, like our long-term bias on alts would be, as long as it can hold this and higher, we have a more longer-term bullish bias. Under this, alt season done. Fartcoin is struggling to get any kind of upside continuation here today. Struggling. And this really sucks because my entry is so terrible. It is a very bad entry. Lower entries are best. That was a perfect entry. That was a perfect entry. That was a good entry. But I didn't get any of those because my bias was bearish under that. We are so far away from this average though. The last 2 days look okay, but it's not on heavy volume. I would, like, if we have underside wicks like this on both of the days, then I want to see bigger volume. I want to see buyers are actually there. Because until that happens, this will be a downside target. Now, it needs to start trending. As long as it can hold this, I like it. But let's see if it does. It really should, for my sake. Glass F. Let's go look at. Oh, let's go look at Glass F. I don't know what Glass F is. No, I'm good, baby. Thank you. You know, I will drink one. I have a water, thank you. Let's get a V8 in us. Get our veggies for the day. I guess it's this. Is it glass.f or something? I don't know. I don't know what you want me to look at. Oh. Yeah, that still doesn't tell me anything. Can you tell me what you're looking for, Matt? And I promise I will pull it up. I type in glass F and this is what I got. I got a bunch of different stuff. I don't know. Are you looking for flat glass futures? If you are, the ticker for that is FG1 exclamation point. I don't see glass F over here is what I'm saying. It's something I don't trade, so I don't know what it is. But just hit me again in the chat and I will pull it up. Lifestyle Media says, I only listen to you and trust my own abilities. Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. I hear you. I get it. That's probably a racist comment. I take that back. I got what you're saying. Yeah. It is very difficult to make a decision if you're listening to 50 other people because they're all going to have their own opinions. My goal is to make it to where you understand how to analyze price so that way you don't need even my help. That's what I want. That's what I would love to see. I would love to see retail no longer be losing traders. I would really love to see 55 million of us just wipe the floor with those Wall Street guys. I would love it. Because there's a misconception in this world, and that misconception is money is difficult and only the rich should be allowed to control it. That needs to stop. It needs to stop. Politicians are not smarter than us. They're just richer than us. That's why they're politicians. They have money. They have people in high places that help them get elected. Then they make decisions for us. Decisions that are never to the benefit of us. And this way, right here, if you can manage your own money, you take the power back. You are taking the power back for yourself. MSTR. MSTR is going to definitely be doing whatever Bitcoin is doing. So since Bitcoin is sideways and choppy right now, MSTR is doing about the same thing. So yeah, I don't see like it's trading inside of last month's range. It tried to break down, but we're so early on into August that really doesn't matter just yet. It will matter moving forward. Objectively, because as long as you are below July's low, then objectively MicroStrategy is weaker than it is strong on the near term, like for the last 4 months, because you're trading inside of a 4-month range. And as long, like if you're trading under this, then more and more people will start taking profits, essentially, right? That could put sell side pressure on MicroStrategy because it doesn't follow Bitcoin one for one. It does trade on its own order flow and its own merits. It has its own fundamentals and macros. So, but it does usually do whatever Bitcoin's doing, since Bitcoin's trading in a range right now for the last few weeks. But MSTR is in a broader 4-month range. Bitcoin is not. right? Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin is consolidating July gains. MicroStrategy isn't. So clearly I like Bitcoin better than I like MicroStrategy, but at the same time, this could be a buying opportunity on MicroStrategy. But my sentiment remains the exact same as it did as Monday. If you got enough money to buy 100 shares of MicroStrategy, well then instead of buying shares, sell puts, because you can put that money to work before you take a position with shares. You can sell puts like every week and make $100 a week of money just while you're waiting for MicroStrategy to get to the price you want to buy it at. So that's what I would do with MicroStrategy right now, especially because it is in a 4-month range. I would sell puts down here under the monthly consolidation lows. So there's the lows. As long as you're above this price, you're in a 4-month range. So I would sell puts like down here, out a month. Or if you want to sell weekly puts, then sell them under like right here. Just sell them at like 358, 359, because that's where you would want to get filled on a position. If it goes back up into the range, then this could be a liquidation. And if that is the case and you do break out to the upside, then you would want to get filled on shares down there, not up here. But since price is trading up here, you can sell weekly puts until price gets down there and capitalize on the time it takes to get there. Put that money to work. AMD. It goes for every single stock that has weekly options, guys. If you have enough money in an account to buy 100 shares of a stock and it has weekly options, instead of just buying shares here, you should be selling puts and making money until you get the pullback. With AMD, it would be a little bit different. I would be selling puts right under this candle's low, 133. If there's enough premium to do so. You might have to go a little bit further out in time. MicroStrategy has a lot of premium because it's a super volatile asset. AMD is pretty volatile too. But if you go that far out for like a week, here I'll go out 9 days. If I go out 9 days, let's see what the premiums would be on that. 9 days on AMD. And we're looking for 133s. There's only 17 cents on those. That's $17. So you can make $17 in 9 days. And if you get down, if you get a move lower, then you can buy the shares. But it'll take a long time to get down there. So maybe if you're going to do weeklies, maybe go 2 weeks out. Do the 147s. They're 69 cents. And you want to own AMD anyway, right? So it makes sense to just take that money that you're going to buy the shares with and sell the puts. But make sure you have enough money to buy 100 shares. Because one contract is 100 shares. So if you get filled on that trade, which you will if at expiration, MicroStrategy or AMD or MicroStrategy is trading under that spot, you will get assigned those puts. So yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. The difference between AMD and MicroStrategy is that AMD is not in a range. It's not range bound. It is right now, right? But we just opened this month a few days ago. So as long as AMD continues to hold above 158 exactly, then you are still potentially trending to the upside. because that is July's range. So here's what you did in July. It was straight up all month, no pullbacks. So first week in August, you pull back. This could be a buying opportunity. As long as it's under this, then you're threatening to come to 149. I don't know if it will, but you're just threatening that. As long as it's above this, then I like it higher over time. Yeah, it looks good. It looks okay. It's a pretty deep correction, but so they must have heard something they didn't like. It wasn't a huge top line beat on earnings. And maybe they said something in the press conference like I do sometimes. Sometimes I say stuff that I shouldn't say. It is never my intent to offend anybody ever, right? So if I offend you, it is not my intent. Please do not take offense to anything I say, because I am a good person. In my heart, I do good things. I help people. I do what I can, right? So I never mean to hurt anybody. Unless you're talking smack about me, and if you are, then you deserve my wrath. I'm just as petty as the next person. I'm just a normal dude. Normal dude that likes to analyze charts. Come on, Fartcoin, man. Do something. Make us some money. We are making a little bit of money here. Let's go look. So now I have to make a decision. It's decision time. So I didn't exit out of the position when it got back under the 4-hour open. I just held it a little bit and it ended up getting back above. You can see how my entry's not exactly perfect there. That's okay. But we are making money now. So we could take profits, but the position size is smaller. So I don't love that idea. We'll see what it does. I'll give it a little bit more time. If it gets to the point to where I think I have to come in here and manage this, I will. But I don't want to let it come back against me and make a loss. If I have to finish the day neutral's good. It's better than a loss. Always. Okay? Always never let something go against you. You don't have to do that. You can exit and re-enter. Look at August in bull market years versus bear market. That's Brandon, everybody. Thanks, Brandon, for showing up. Oh, wait, where did it go? Did I exit it? I was talking to myself. Where is it, Brandon? Let me just ask Google again to pull it up. I don't know where to look. Here, I'll just pull it back up the way I did earlier. I accidentally exited that tab. Oh, no, I didn't. It's right there. Found it. So he says, look at Bitcoin. Look at when you're in a bull market. So we were in a bull market in 2023 and 2024. We are currently in a bull market in 2025. So we finished down 11% in 23 and we finished down 8% in 2024. So let me go and get other bull market years here on Bitcoin. I'm going to need the BLX chart for this because it has more data. So 2023 and 2024 were bull market years. Let's see here. 2020 and 2021 were both bull market years. So 2020, you got up 2.8% in 2020 and up 13% in 2021. So yeah, I mean, it does okay. I won't call this a bull market because you were trading inside of 2018's range. So technically, this is not a bull market. Now, with that being said, it did close the year up. So it was a bullish year for Bitcoin. But I don't know that you can outrightly say that it was a bull market. Does that make sense? And then the next two would be 16 and 17. Right here. 16 was down, but 17 was good. We probably won't ever see monthly returns like this on Bitcoin again. That's an opinion statement. All right. And the reason I say that is just look for yourself above this point. So let's start here and just say above the red line, how many plus 65% months do you have? I see a couple 30s in there, but no 60s. These numbers will go down as the years go on. So just in 2024 was a very small month. Then you had a 43% return in February. Then the 16%, then you gave back some of that. But as time goes on, I figured these ranges will get smaller and smaller and smaller. So as far as seeing these kind of months, I doubt we see that anymore. The ETFs are going to just make that possible, unfortunately. That's an opinion statement, but it is still my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it does good in bull markets over time. The 2023 and 2024 both experienced red months in August. But for those 2 years, September was good. September closed up. 2022 was a bear market. Was that the end? Yeah, that was the end. But yeah, I see what you're saying there. Some bull markets, it did really good in August, is what he's trying to say. And yeah, it could do good this month. The macro is, in my opinion, the macro is situated perfectly for us to finish the year good and strong and have a good, strong year next year. And the reasoning behind it is like Trump wants to put in a very dovish central bank chair. And as long as we don't see a spike in inflation or unemployment, that should be bullish for risk markets. So, I mean, I think the rest of this year and next year look good for Bitcoin and risk markets. I think we will see continuation of growth and all that good stuff that's required. Netflix looking to buy shares, no leverage. It's had 5 down weeks. Netflix would be another one that I would absolutely be selling puts on. This is another one that has phenomenal volatility on the options. Phenomenal volatility. So the one thing that you have to worry about, obviously, when you're selling puts to generate an income is bear markets. All right. A bear market will crush you if you sell puts. So You can only use or implement the selling put strategy when you want to own shares of a company in bullish market conditions. When do we have bullish market conditions for selling put? When the VIX is under 20. I would say 17, 16 even. When you have a low VIX, you should be selling puts. When VIX is elevated or climbing, trending up, you do not ever want to be selling puts on any company, especially those that have a super volatile implied volatility. Like when that is jacked up, you do not want to be selling puts. So right now, I think conditions are aligned for selling puts on shares of companies that you guys want to own. Since you have the money, if you have the money to buy 100 Netflix shares, you might as well put that money to work. Now, Netflix isn't doing what MicroStrategy is doing. So once again, this one isn't really a great candidate for that yet, because last month you experienced a significant pullback on Netflix. I'm not saying that this is going to be a blow off top or anything like that. We've experienced bearish engulfing monthly candles on Netflix before and seen upside continuation after. Here's one. Bearish engulfing monthly. All of your retail traders thought this was a blow off top. It's time to short Netflix. They got smoked. Here is another bearish monthly engulfing. Same scenario. Retail tried to pick a top. They got smoked. Here's one that it actually worked. Retail got their downside continuation, and they got their downside continuation here as well. So not a very good signal being bearish on Netflix once you get a monthly engulfing. Now, technically, this is not a monthly engulfing because it didn't take out last month's high, but it is. All right. I mean, you pretty much were close enough to call this an outside candle. So you might want to wait or sell them way out of the money. So like the same thing that I do because like on the very near term, as long as you are trading under 1248, the threat is lower. The threat is lower as long as you're trading under that. So you could fib the year range. We have the year low right there. That's your all-time high. So your year range is here. So you could sell puts under $1,000 or right at $1,000. Like a month out. So you would go out like 30 days on Netflix, go down to the 1000s, and you would sell that. And you would make about $150 per month. So you might as well put the money to work while you're waiting for it to pull back to a price you like. Right? And the price you like would be 1,000. Because that's the 618 of the yearly expansion. If you're going to see continuation higher on Netflix, you would want to see it happen from there. If you want to do that smaller, then you would need to watch this low and do it weekly. Every week. You would sell the 1100 strike. We could go out 9 days and see what that would yield in as far as a return. That would yield about $285 a week. You could make $285 per week, as long as by the expiration price isn't under June's low. Oh, sorry, May's low. So as long as price is staying above May's low, you could make, in theory, about $250 a week while you're just waiting for it to pull back to support. Put that money to work. Put it to work. Never let money just sit around and not draw or accrue some kind of interest. And my cat just dropped a bomb in here and it is freaking smoking me out. Damn, you stinking. Get out of here. Litter box has to be in here, unfortunately. Also testing daily 100 on Netflix. Yeah, as far as daily moving averages go, I would be more... I mean, it could hold support here. It absolutely could. But Netflix is a pretty volatile stock. I mean, you can see here you got all the way down to the 200 not too long ago in April. So it could hold. I agree with you. It is at a spot where you would want to watch to see if support does hold. But just keeping in mind that, you know, under it, you could see a larger drop all the way down to that, which is roughly around the 618 of the yearly range expansion. But you could definitely put that money to work while we're waiting for Netflix to pull back to support. So even if it finds support here and you miss out on the larger or a rally, it doesn't matter because you're still making money. You're still incurring a return on that money. It isn't mathematic. I mean, you're still controlling 100 shares of stock, right? So, yeah, I would put it to work. Put it to work. And you can keep growing it. In theory, you never have to like actually own Netflix shares. You could just make money on the money that you would buy Netflix shares with. It's in a pullback right now, so give it time, let it pull back. It's been pulling back for a solid month. We have to see. Netflix is going to follow the broader market generally. Not always. It's not a one for one, but generally speaking, Netflix is a good company. They do make money and investors love this stock. Netflix is one that when you experience a significant drawdown on it, you need to buy it. I think Netflix should be in everybody's portfolio. I was literally telling people to buy Netflix down here at $250. I was begging people to buy Netflix. But when you have this much red, people just don't think it'll ever go back up. They think it's over. It's never the case. They always find a bottom. Now, that is if Netflix continues doing what they have been doing. Of course, a company can shoot itself in the foot. This is not an index product, so theoretically, they could go out of business. They hire the wrong person to run it. But it has been a very, very much loved stock. A lot of people made fortunes owning Netflix. What Trump wants will lead to stagflation. Okay, so that's the reason I should be bearish. I really don't care what he wants. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. I'm trying to make money on the macro. Not trying, I am making money on the macro, right? I mean, these politicians, they tell us what they're going to do. Central bankers have been telling us what they're going to do since 2008. So we might as well make money off of it. We shouldn't look at every outcome as negative. Investors make money when they're optimistic. There's also pessimists that make money, but they only make money about once every 3 years. Because we know with data that bear markets only happen once every 3 years. We had a bear market already this year. The market has already topped back out this year. That doesn't mean, because it's a coin flip as always. Like, that's how probabilities work. It's a 50-50 for each flip, but each flip is a reset. So just because we've already had a bear market this year doesn't mean we won't experience another one. But the probability suggests that you should be a buyer, not a seller. Stagflation, all those other economic words that scream the markets will go down, those things rarely ever happen, guys. Donald Trump is a savvy businessman. Regardless how you feel about the man, politically, he has made a lot of money. He inherited a lot of money, but hey, I don't hate the man for inheriting money. Inheriting money is a great thing. A lot of Americans have inherited wealth. And then they have taken that wealth, if they were savvy, and made more wealth for future generations. Like, Trump's granddaughter is worth over $1 billion, and she's just like, what, 20? So, yeah. I'm pretty sure she'll never have to work a day in her life. As long as dollars have some value. And as long as they are the world reserve currency, they will always have value. Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll see stagflation or not, right? Some people think we will, but I can show you other macroeconomists who say, no, it will not. Like, yeah, I don't look at things like that. I'm trying to generate revenue every single month. And I do okay at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think we need to worry about stagflation. Like I said, this ain't life-changing money, but if I keep knocking $200, $300, $500, $700, $800 trades out the park every single week, it's not going to take me long to build that account up to where I can then, if I want to, knock $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 trades out the park. I'm just trying to teach you guys how to make money. How much money will be up to you and your risk tolerances. And I don't worry about terms like inflation or stagflation or any of it. I simply watch the charts. They will tell you if we're headed for that or not. And if we're not headed for it, then you shouldn't be trading for it. Right? Just do that. Be optimistic in nature or at heart and keep watching the charts. Watch the ratios. See where people are putting their money. There are gambling sites out there. You can probably bet on that. Will we see stagflation or not? What's a gambling site? What is that gambling site? Let's go see if that's... What is it? I don't remember it. I had it pulled up, but I restarted my computer. And I don't remember the name of it because my brain is like a bunch of cobwebs and spilled up with smoke. Let me see here. What is gambling website? Not stake. What is it? Flutter? No. These, I've never heard of any of these. I know one of you guys in the chat knows exactly what site I'm talking about. What's the name of it? Glass F is an OTC market. I pulled that up I don't see it. Glass F, like OTC, OTC. I just do not see it. I do not see Glass F, OTC. Sorry, I don't know. I still don't know what you're talking about. Poly Market. Thank you, bro. That's it right there. Let's go see US stagflation. Boom, there it is. And right now that says no, not in 2025. And people put their money where their mouth is. There's a 9% chance that you see stagflation in 2025, so there is no reason to make a trade thinking you're going to get stagflation, right? Love it. It's that simple. Just look at charts and graphs. Charts and graphs, man, they will help you. They'll keep you on the right side of the market when everybody else is on the wrong side. Also, you can watch ratios and just simply look and see where people are positioning their money in the markets. Like, we can look at weekly time frame charts and see this. Let's get rid of moving averages. Oop, they don't matter. Not in this. This, we're just looking for inflationary fears or recessionary fears. So this is what it looks like when people are positioning for inflation. That's not what we got. Same goes for here. Inflationary fears, it's going the opposite way. So we're not looking for inflation this year, or not yet. This one neither. This one neither. XLE versus the SPY is a great inflationary indicator. It's going the opposite direction. Love it. Glass F with one S. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was typing it out wrong. I was putting two S's. Thank you. That's what I needed right there. So much. I needed the ticker. The actual ticker. You were probably writing it right. You were writing it right. That is my bad. So sorry. Yep. You wrote it right the first time, all the way up top in the chat. That's my bad. I wrote it wrong. I was typing two S's. Good call. All right, here we go. So it looks okay on the year for now. It doesn't look great on the year, but it looks okay. It needs to hold support. If you stop, thank you. It needs to hold support where it is. But what it's done all year is it set a yearly low, then it made an expansionary phase and then came back. It doesn't matter if it went lower first and up or up and then down. Doesn't matter. The fact is the fact. You lost it last month. This would be a selling opportunity. If price fails to go up any higher than where it is now, if you own this, you need to get out of it. Now, it is possible that it has made lows, right? Because we closed down here in August, you've just moved up. But whenever I see a chart like this, I have to be very, very cautious. Very cautious. This is going to be a selling opportunity if it doesn't hold here. Glass House Brands. They probably don't make money if they're OTC. Let me see here. Yeah, they can't find it. And I typed it right. Okay, so they probably don't make money yet. I mean, it looks okay. This is clearly a huge bounce, but they got earnings coming up. Wait, what is that? What's that? Why is that different? That's a different earnings symbol. Does it move or something? Well, it says you got earnings coming up. Estimated date. That's why. It's an estimated date. August 18th. This big move right here could be just a move to get people into the stock so they can dump it in earnings. It's a very, it's not trending. It is not trending. You are trading inside of April's candle. Like, you bounced at monthly support. That's it. This is a bounce only until proven otherwise. Because you had a nice move here, but then they hit it hard. So anytime you get big moves like this and then the stock sells off, it's the people that, like, the early investors, when whoever this guy that owns this company said, hey, I'm going to build a company and we're going to be Glass House Brands Incorporated, and I want you to invest in my company. I will give you so-and-so amount of shares in my company, a 10% stake for $350,000 or whatever. And they say, okay, yeah, sure. I'm a billionaire. I can afford $350,000 loss. It ain't shit. Here's your money, bub. These are the people that are hammering the stock. All right? Because these people have been in business since 2020, and they did get a small return on their investment when the stock went public. And it looks like they sold. So the ones that haven't sold yet are selling now. So all the people that held through all of this volatility have been selling every single time it has spiked. That is what this chart says to me. So since they have been selling every single spike, I would assume that trend will continue. The market is just running out of sell side liquidity, then it bounces looking for supply. They let it bid up and then they had it. Bam. They get out. They get out. They get out. It needs to hold the yearly opening range. Needs to. If it's trading even 10-second candles under that price, I would be getting out. This isn't something that I would ever want to buy and hold. If anything, I would want to take the short on the spikes. I would wait for like the spikes to happen, give it a couple days, 3-4 days, see what happens. When you start seeing this kind of activity, then you can look for the short. We don't have that yet, so this could mean that you're going to see another dollar spike or something in the next few days. It is at the July open, so this would be a support area if this is legit buying. What could have simply happened is the people that have been selling just turn the algos off and they're just waiting. They might have a specific price point at which they start to turn the selling back on again. And it may be lower this time. Big people are selling. Your top investors, the one that invested early in this, they are just getting out to recoup what little bit of money they still have in it. And that's what's causing it to go lower and lower. When it breaks down under $5, it's going to be bad probably. Yeah, it looks rough. not something I would own. If you're just day trade scalping it because of volume and whatnot, that's different, right? You're just momentum trading. This doesn't have a lot of volume. So I can't imagine this has hit any scanners. Didn't hit a scanner then. Didn't hit a scanner then. Your Momo scalpers, they usually got their scanners set to 20% gains. But those scanners will also be tied in with volume. So these spikes that you're seeing here could be straight up market manipulation. These big spikes are not coming in from heavy volume. Like, this isn't momentum scalping volume. This could literally be manipulation. Be very careful with this. I wouldn't buy this with nothing. Like, you could give me free McDonald's or Monopoly money and let me buy shares with this, I still wouldn't buy it. Be very careful if you own it. If you do own it and you're up, I would take my money. Because there's no point, like, there's not a level that I will be able to tell you, you need to get out. I won't know when they start selling again. But whoever is selling this, they're getting out. You should too if you own it. I doubt support will hold. Especially with earnings coming up. I mean, this is a straight gamble. That's all this would be for me. Just a straight gamble. Be careful with it, please. DKNG is a gambling site. Let's look at it. See if it says the same thing for stagflation. Sloth's my boy. I wasn't giving you shit, Sloth, about the deflationary comment. I just think that it might happen, or stagflation, it might happen, right? I can't tell you if it will or won't. But what I can do is I can position for it not happening. Not this year, anyway. Is that it? Or let's just pull up DKNG. DraftKings. I was actually trying to type the ticker symbol in there. DraftKings is probably more of a sports betting website more than it is an everything gambling website. Sports, promos, dynasty pools. Yeah, I think Polymarket is the one that I was looking for. Polymarket, you can bet on literally anything. Like, look at these stupid things that these people are betting on. And if you play with this website and you make money, good on you. Good on you. I have no edge when it comes to gambling with stuff like this. I always lose. So I don't bet. I don't do sports betting. I don't bet on UFC fights. Like, the only thing I bet on is price. And that is it. And that's because I have an edge in that. I could never find an edge in betting, but presidential election winner 2028, they're already betting on that. And we just had a presidential election. Fed decision in September. 25 basis point decrease. 76% says yep. So September rate cut, more than likely. ChatGPT release dates, Jerome Powell out as Fed chair. I don't think this is going to happen. According to this, it says it's not. I think Trump will just allow him to run out his term and then they'll put someone else in. That will be next year, 2026. New York. How much? Wait, how does this work? $10 buy the no? Does this thing pay out guaranteed? Huh. Wait, if everybody says no, then who's buying back this has to be like a share, right? It has to be like a stock market to work. Is there liquidity providers in this? Like, are you guaranteed someone will give you $100 when this thing expires? I should look into this. I really should. I mean, they bet on anything and everything. So crazy. Even prices of Bitcoin and stuff. It's like, if you want to bet on the price of Bitcoin, do it in the market. Bitcoin is still struggling. It's like where the S&P did good, we took out Monday's high. We can close that trade out. We made money on that. Let me close that one out. That baby in the money. Oh, I bought 30 days. Oh, I got time on this. I might leave this open, actually. I thought I bought it at like 6 days or something. I got time on that trade, so I'll just leave that trade alone. Yeah, it's in the money, so there's no point. I thought if it didn't have that much time on it, I would just get out, but it's got so much time on it. As long as the S&Ps are trending higher, I want to stay long for sure. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. I mean, guys, it's not hard. What day was that? Friday. What day did I tell people that? Let me see here. Oh, August 4th. That was Saturday? Monday. So Monday, I posted the secular volatile model from Shabako Capital shows us that 3% pullback is perfectly normal. That's a buying opportunity, guys. When you're in a bull market, you can buy 3% dips, 5% dips, and 10% dips. Just make sure you manage your money when you buy a 3% dip, because there's a good chance you could see a 5% dip. So get out. If you get under 3%, get out. Wait for 5%, then try it again. And same scenario. Just make sure when you're getting out, you're not losing a lot of money, because when you're right, which you will be eventually, then you'll make the money back. So I told you Monday, you could buy the S&P 500 as it was a 3% dip. The market opened at 62.72. We're at 63.43 now. Lovely stuff. It's that simple. This would be a 7%. What was it? A 7? 10. Or no, it would have been a 5% correction. That's why I said if we trade down to this week, I will definitely be a buyer. Yeah, that would have been the 5% correction. This was more, today was just more like a day trade, because I was watching last month's midpoint down here and I just wanted to buy it. Yeah, when you're in a bull market, buy these 3, 5, and 10% corrections. Those are buying opportunities, always. Earnings come out on the 11th. They just had an ICE raid and it plummeted. Oh, okay. So Glass F is a legitimate company, obviously. It is being traded. Just be very careful with it, please. Because like I said, somebody is selling it. You got 2 levels that you can watch here. You can watch July's open and you can watch the yearly open. As long as price is failing to go under those two prices, then maybe you could buy it for a spike. But if you're looking to be a seller, then yeah, just let it spike a little bit more, or you can sell resistance test. Like when it dips under the yearly open, look for a wick back into it. This thing has very thin liquidity, so it might be hard to short. It might be hard to get in and out of positions, is what I'm saying. Because when you have things like this, there aren't any liquidity providers in it. So literally, you need someone to take the other side of your trade. I've seen people buy stuff like this before. I did it when I first started trying to be a day trader. Before I knew how to trade, right? I hit the floor running. So I tried to scalp a penny stock like this once. I think I bought 1,000 shares of it because it was under $1, and I ended up not being able to get out of it. Like, I tried to sell and nothing ever happened because there was literally nobody wanting to buy 1,000 shares of that stock. You could run into that. So be careful if you buy this. If there isn't someone that wants to buy it higher, then you're not going to be able to get out of it. You're going to take the loss. Very dangerous to trade illiquid products. There's no money, there's no liquidity providers in there. Be careful. Liquidity is important when it comes to these things. Fartcoin is failing to break out. So I'm probably just going to exit that damn thing for a very small gain, because it's just pushing lower and lower and lower. It's like nobody wants to buy Fartcoin today. This is not what I want. I want this. Yeah. It could not hold support where I wanted to see support hold. Here, it did not hold it, it lost it, and it's breaking down. Just a very choppy, shitty day for Fartcoin trades. And now that it's lost the trend, what little bit of trend it did have, I don't know that it'll get it back. It lost it here for a little bit, but there was a level there. There's not really a level here. There's an old swing low there, but that's a nothing low. Yeah, it's retraced all of last hour. I do not love this thing. Yeah, I don't love this thing. This is the last place it needs to hold, but my entry's right there. So even a small push under that will make me losing money. It's just not doing what I wanted it to do. Because Bitcoin, let's be honest, it's been trading like junk too. Like, look at this garbage. Had a nice trending couple of days there, and then ever since it's done nothing really. Still trading inside of August range. You got to get out of here, Bitcoin. You got to start making higher highs and higher lows. All right, guys. You all have a fantastic rest of your day. We're going to wrap it up. You do own it. Earnings are supposed to be good. Well, that sounds like inside information. Don't say that. Shh. Maybe you work for the company. Maybe that's how you know. Maybe your boss said, hey, earnings are supposed to be good. I think that's still not cool, but I don't know. Yeah, just be careful with it. It's a very dangerous thing to trade. So with that, I guess we'll wrap up this session. Tomorrow will probably be Patreon members only. And then back to Thursday, I'll come back live publicly. I definitely got to do the live streams for the Patreon members more often than I do the public streams. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. The oil trade did work out. Now, obviously, in hindsight, wish I would have taken it. But if you did take it, there were 2 opportunities to do that. We nailed the first opportunity, and had we taken the second opportunity, we would have also nailed that. As you did get that downside trending move eventually, right there. So the trade did work on oil, just didn't take it. That's all right. We made money on the S&P. Amazon's doing good. Amazon's doing really good for us today, as it did get above August and expanded a little bit. So hopefully it'll hold it on a pullback when it goes back to testing a support. But yeah, it's doing pretty good. The trade itself is up. It's up $123. We'll see if we can get some more continuation to the upside later on in the session. And that's about all we got, really. The gold short is not working, but GLD has done nothing today, literally. So I'm still holding it. These are the levels up in here where I no longer want to hold it. So, I mean, if it starts to break out above 311, I'm going to get out of it. Because it's not working. It has not been working. We took it on this day, wanting July's open to hold as resistance. It didn't hold. It was actually checked as support here. But it is struggling. Not great. The trend is still up. We kind of need this to flip back to down. So as long as that's looking like that with that 100, the structure looks like it wants to go higher. So be careful if you're still holding this short. You might want to get out of it soon. But other than that, we did okay. We're not taking a loss on Fartcoin, as I'm getting out of that right now. So the Fartcoin, the altcoin scalps didn't really work out for us today. I'm gonna collect $25. I'm out. I got out with 22 bucks. So it's a break-even day. Can't win them all. We'll try again tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.